Welcome to Leadership in Action, the podcast where we explore the stories, strategies, and leadership principles behind purposeful progress across the Caribbean and beyond. I'm Amrita, your host and Chief Projects Officer of Action Invest Caribbean. And with me, I'm joined with Miss Saudia Persaud, Operations Manager of the Suriname Guyana Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Saudia.
Thank you, Amrita. Thank you so much for having me.
Excellent, Saudia. Now, Saudia, you play a key role in advancing regional trade and business diplomacy across two of South America's fastest growing economies. Whether she's coordinating investment missions, facilitating impactful events like the International Business Conference, her leadership is rooted in connection, trust, and execution. So, Saudia, in today's conversation, we'll explore what it means to lead in the middle, to be the engine behind collaboration. We'll dive into more mechanics of mechanical operation and looking to scale opportunities beyond a national level. So, Saudia, let's get into it. Let's describe your experiences and your influences in your early upbringing. How has that shaped you as a leader?
I would say that through the earlier parts of my career, I didn't always see myself in a leadership role this early, and I think that was mainly a confidence issue, and also not having the exposure to the types of experience that would have really helped to shape that mindset as early on as I needed it. Luckily, I've gotten an opportunity to adapt to certain situations, found myself in roles where I got the opportunity to take initiative and to really contribute more than was basically my mandate at the time. And building confidence from those experiences really helped me look at myself and my capabilities in a different light, and also reframe what I was really reaching for at a career level. I had a very clear vision of the type of field I wanted to work in, but my actual position that I was aiming for was not always clear to me. But the more that I got experience, the more that I started networking and seeing the ways in which organizations that are supporting private sector can make a difference, the more that I really refined what I wanted my career to look like and what I was really aspiring to. So I think really what shaped me were, yes, my values and my upbringing, making sure that I was in my working environment compassionate and understanding, and also prioritizing continuous learning throughout the process. But also, it's so important to do the work on yourself and make sure that you have the confidence to not only in yourself, but that also translates when you have a team to lead. You need that confidence. You need to be able to impart that onto them, and also instill that in them going forward. Because in my experience, I've encountered many persons that were at the same headspace that I was at. And it was a real 360 experience to see that I got a chance to relay my experience to them and kind of instill a little bit of that confidence in them also.
I like that. I think it's important for us to recognize Guyanese talent and that we are Guyanese talent. And also, I think in the trajectory that Guyana is facing its national development, it's key that we also help one another and help ourselves. And the major way we can do that is simply by practicing confidence. So, very powerful words there, Sadia.
It is. And one of the ways that you can make sure that you are practicing confidence, it really doesn't matter at what level in your career you're at, it's to prioritize continuous learning. Some persons think that this is it, they've got it, they're at a place where they're comfortable, and they're well and qualified to contribute and to continue contributing to their team and their mandate. But continuous learning, it's not always academic. It's understanding the culture of your organization, how better to improve that, to keep up with all of the changes happening in our region recently. And it just ensures that you maintain that confidence in yourself as a leader, and that you appear adaptable to your team, approachable, supportive, based on all of the new challenges that come your way. Your team know that you are someone that they can depend on to come to you, to be honest with you, and to also trust the fact that you are going to do the work on your own that you are expecting for them, to be able to always know how to respond to a situation, how to innovate for your organization's benefit, and so on and so forth.
Speaking of employing innovation and confidence, what are some challenges that you've overcome in your career?
in my career, I wouldn't really call them challenges because I feel like I've come across so many opportunities which in the moment felt like challenges, but in hindsight, they were really opportunities to increase my qualifications and my experience. For example, I don't think I can sit here and list all of the things that I have experience in, and that's simply a result of seeing things happening in the organization or the company I was with and wanting to take initiative. This is from ICT related duties to marketing duties to PR duties to finance duties. And not everyone wants to be that rounded or are put in situations where they need to be that rounded, but for me, it's definitely a point of pride. And it doesn't have to be that wide of a scope, but I do think that we all should welcome opportunities that come about and see them for what they are. I do know that in reality, in the actual situation, I was definitely frustrated and maybe, complaining about the difficulty and the learning curves. But in hindsight, I'm super proud of everything that's happened so far.
I appreciate the reframing from challenges to opportunities, and I'm particularly interested in getting to know more about your personal values and your leadership principles. How has that guided your decision? And of course, that vision that you've mentioned there, with wanting to acquire skills that somewhere along the line you may have to use one way or the other.
So for me, I think I have been a team member under many different leadership styles. And from each leader that I've been under, I've taken something and applied it to myself and learned from it, whether it was a negative experience with someone that was in charge of me or something that really enlightened me to what leadership should be. And at the core of it, I do understand that you need to lead with compassion and you need to lead understanding that you're not just a leader, you're a part of the team as well. And you want yourself to be viewed as a team member and you want that open communication. You want to build trust among your team and you need to be trustworthy and to demonstrate that not only in your personal interactions and your more informal interactions with your team members, but also in the actual projects and tasks that you tackle with your team. You want to be a trustworthy person. Outside of that, again, you need to be a leader that is reassuring and can really support your team. You also need to lead by example. So, all of the things that you are looking to get out of your organization, your company, your operations, all of the good standards that you can pinpoint and name, you need to be able to demonstrate that and lead by example in your own mandate first. So, let's say you want to make sure that your team members are super respectful of each other's time, of meeting deadlines, and so on. You need to find a way to demonstrate these things to your wider team.
I think it's also important that we adapt our strategy. There are very many things that we learn about ourselves that we wish to channel within our own leadership styles to maintain our authenticity. And so, what's one way you found that was very effective in adapting your strategy towards working with new people?
I feel like at this point, especially in my current organization, working with SGCC, we've been a part of so many training exercises and we've had access to so much organizational workshops and knowledge that I'm not sure I can pinpoint just one thing. Could you repeat the question for me?
Yeah, sure. What is one way that you've been adapting your strategy to make sure you work well with new people?
Okay. Uh, as a team, I'll answer as a team, as my current team. It's just three of us. We're a pretty small team. With all of the knowledge that we've gained, it is really important to stay open minded and be receiving of knowledge and critiques that we face as a very young and very small organization, and to be able to have the adaptability to take that feedback and to take all of these learnings and to actually work them into strategies going forward, whether it be with regards to the way that we serve our current members, the way that we are we are or aren't innovating enough at the current moment in time, the way that we are organizing our events. We need to be able to take that feedback and work it into real solutions for the type of rewards that we want to reap from our operations.
A huge part of that reward also means growth and resilience in the long term. What is an approach that you've found that has been most effective in creating that across initiatives that the SGC has had? Sure. So we're looking now at how the SGCC aims to achieve long term growth and resilience. And one of the things that you mentioned was adaptability. So, what I would like to get from you now is what are some of those approaches that have really helped you drive that growth and initiative in the SGCC?
So we have put in place a number of systems since the organization first started. The organization, like I said, it's pretty young. It was launched in 2023, and I only joined in 2024. So I was at a good place to actually take initiative and put into place a lot of things that I thought were necessary, and my team followed suit in making their own recommendations on what they thought could really help us, push forward. I joined at a time where we were in the middle of planning our first edition of the International Business Conference that took place in Guyana. So we really got a hands on opportunity as it being our first time hosting and having control of all of the different elements of the conference that we hadn't previously. And the SGCC, you'll find us at any expo, any conference, participating with our members. We would have a booth presence, we would have a networking presence, making sure that we have visibilities for the chamber, but also for our members. But this was the first time that we could control all of the elements and all of the benefits of the event. And one of the things that we were really proud of is introducing the business to business matching aspect of the conference. And we see a common thread in all of the feedback that we receive of the attendees prioritizing the B2B matching aspect and actually missing out on some of the sessions because they were so focused in getting their meetings done, getting deals signed on the spot, and it was really innovative because these meetings, they could be scheduled by the app for the conference, and all attendees had to do was show up, say, okay, this is my table, this is my time, and their meetings were facilitated. We also saw hundreds of impromptu meetings throughout all of the editions so far of the conference. So I think that was one of my prouder innovative moments. Within the chamber itself, we have a very shared mandate across BSOs, not only in Guyana, regionally, of how chambers really operate and how we serve our members. We have a wide membership, not just across Suriname and Guyana, but across the Caribbean and also international members as well. And for this wide scope of companies that are coming to us from all of these, unique sectors and unique backgrounds, we need to be able to serve each one specifically and provide support that is tailored to them. So for that reason, we developed a membership plan, which is just a mechanism that allows them to fill out all of the specific areas that they are looking for support over the time of their membership with us, whether it's with regards to visibility, being more present at events, if it's something more specific like advocacy at a government level that we can actually help to expedite, more introductions, more connections, B2Bs. It really is tailored to what these companies need. And this mechanism gives them an opportunity to outline that for us so that we have this template on how we are serving them for their time with us. And we've seen a lot of good feedback from implementing that membership plan alone. And from there, we were able to get more feedback on what it is that they're looking for, what they want when they make that payment to the chamber, when they make that investment and they want to see return on their investment. And together from that, our board members came together and they actually created a welcome plan for every new member. They have a list of benefits that they can choose from. And this ranges from regulatory guidance, financial guidance, free consultation sessions, free training sessions, marketing assistance and guidance, all based on what they're looking to accomplish. And these are free sessions that they get upon entry to the chamber.
Fantastic, Sadia. I think our guests, and not just our guests, but our viewers right now would be particularly enthusiastic to know that you handle the business to business supervisory role when it comes to those meetings and just how productive they are. I remember that over 700 meetings were done through Global Energies as well. That is incredible work that you've done. And I also really love how you touched on what the SGCC has been able to do as a co host of the IBC. And you've mentioned just enough examples too of how one can measure their success beyond something that is financial. For you in your personal life and in your professional life, what really keeps you going when you do all of these projects?
So I feel like I've said this before, even to you outside of this podcast. But for me personally, my work is me and I am my work. So I don't really have that clear separation of my work and my personal life. And that can be a bad thing at times, but it also helps me maintain the sense of pride in my work and to always make sure that I am happy with the quality of work I'm putting out and that I am happy with the responses and feedback I'm getting from the people that I'm engaging and that I'm serving. You mentioned the stats for the B2Bs for the IBC, and that's just the meetings that we could track that were booked on the app alone because over 100 impromptu meetings happened in the B2B space and around the venue throughout the conference among the delegates. And I mean, that's on us. We do need to expand our B2B space and our B2B timings, but we were working with what we were given. And this is just the stats that we could have tracked the 100 plus impromptu meetings. That's just what we tracked on our own. There was so much else going on. And we got some feedback from persons who were able to sign deals at the conference and their experience networking there. And it's been really validating hearing about all of the connections made.
It's delayed gratification,
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
delayed.
Like when you think back on it, it's just so impressive. Makes you think what else could possibly happen at the next IBC.
Yeah.
And what's in store for the SGCC as well. I'm very proud that you were able to achieve all of this. Well done.
Thank you.
Great. And Saudia, tell me, how do you feel that your work has directly contributed to people and their spaces?
It's a bit surreal at times, and you putting it into words, it's more than I've thought about it in that scope, like specifically in a while. But again, I have an amazing team. It's right now our secretariat, it's just 3 team members, and only one of those team members work in Suriname. So she has a lot of responsibility in her outreach and her connections there. It has definitely been surreal, especially seeing what comes out of not just the chamber, but our role as host of the IBC. And a lot of attention comes onto the SGCC as a result of everything that we've accomplished so far and everything that we're planning. And sometimes we need to have a conversation with the companies looking to join the organization because we don't just want to onboard companies because they're here for their complimentary IBC discount. And a lot of times, our incoming leads, they're like, okay, we saw we got 50% off if we're an SGCC member for the IBC. Or we're like, we understand, but we want to have a conversation with you. And we want to make sure that we can support you. And we want to see how you think, you need support from us going forward. Because then we have a large membership, but we also have a membership that are here for just the IBC. And we're not doing anything for them outside of that. So we always need to make sure we're having those conversations and we have a set outline of how we are providing to support to all of our members.
And earlier you also mentioned that some key focal points of what you do in your day to day also means that we have to harmonize. And it is the harmonizing between something that is so bilateral with getting your members to not only understand the value they're getting in the International Business Conference, but simply by being a member. And touching on that too, you talked a little bit about how there's a sort of separation between the person who is involved in their day-to-day role and their personal life. And it's an interesting synergy that you would have amplified there. I think it's also vital that we identify what are some of those challenges among ourselves in being in this kind of role and also establishing these bilateral connections. What do you think are some of those challenges between building connections?
I think as a business support organization, and I'm sure other chambers, they share the same sentiment, you can create the opportunities and you can make the introductions, but at the end of the day, it is up to your members, the actual persons, decision makers in these companies, to follow through and reap the benefits that, we're trying to provide. One of the things we do face as a challenge is initiating connections within and outside of our membership, but not seeing companies follow through. And I know that there is always going to be some hesitance to partnership and evaluating what type of joint ventures are right for us. But I think now more than ever, regionally, we do need to embrace more partnerships and collaboration because we're at a point where this is a necessity. Collaboration is a necessity regionally. And we need to be able to see the value in the long run and to make use of what the BSOs that we are engaging are trying to provide for us. One of the things we advise persons looking to build relationships in Guyana and in Suriname is the culture of doing business in these countries is that the persons really appreciate face to face conversations and you coming to them, understanding the culture, understanding their work culture, and really having these discussions in person. So we do recommend persons looking to these countries to actually come have that on the ground experience, network, have your support organizations, whether that's SGCC or another organization, really make those introductions and facilitate those meetings in person so you have that connection that I find these businesses really are looking for.
Equally, if not more important, I'm also considering that there's a mindset shift that needs to happen for us to make better use of our connections. If you could offer one piece of advice towards that mindset shift in entrepreneurs or anyone in the corporate space, what would that be?
I feel like what I'm about to say, it's been said before. Don't view it as competition. View it as opportunities to collaborate, to learn your market. And where you find that you're falling short or you are unsure, get yourself into a network where you can have these conversations, where you can have knowledge of other experiences. You can learn about what it takes to be in these kind of spaces, looking towards these kind of partnerships. And one of the best ways to do that is to find a network like a BSO, like SGCC, and allow the members and the teams there to guide you and provide the type of assistance and advice that you need going into it.
And you and I know best that the way to keep a project running is to stay grounded. What are some of those daily habits and routines you credit for making everything you do a success?
Making everything I do a success. I think, and I've heard this from our current chairman, um, time management is really self-management. And being an operations manager is a nice way of saying doing a little bit of everything. So you do have to stay grounded and you do have to make sure that you are dedicating your time to the things that matter and you're tracking all of your tasks every step of the way. This is the only way that you can manage yourself. It's the only way that you can feel fulfilled, and it's the best way that you can serve the people that are depending on you, whether that's your team or, of course, in a situation like mine, a very wide membership.
I'm thinking if you could go back in time as well to little Saudia, she's at the pinnacle of her career, she has a vision, and she wants to develop her confidence. What would you say to her?
So I'm actually gonna tell you how I started my original leadership journey. And this was at a time when, unfortunately, when COVID hit here in Guyana and a contract that I was really, really proud of had ended out of necessity and for financial reasons and also for personal development reasons. And to stay sane in a time like the pandemic, I actually started my own business. And it was a small business. It was marketing based and also art based. And it really helped me understand that in a situation like this, your income depends on you. The trajectory of your business, the success of your business, no matter how small, it really depends on you. And at that point in time, it really couldn't be more true. And it helped kind of shape my mindset going forward, to understand that if I am to pursue larger leadership roles, I really needed to be able to understand the importance of responsibility and accountability. And that has filtered down even to today. I'm still learning lessons about being a responsible team member and an accountable team member. Even, as the challenges come, it has proven a lesson that just keeps on teaching you. And confidence, I think having confidence from that age, it didn't come naturally to me. It came with all of the accomplishments that I was able to make along the way. And as I found myself more capable, as something came and went, and I say, I really didn't need to be that stressed about that experience. I've got it when it comes to this aspect. So for me, confidence comes in waves, and it comes with experience. But I do think that if you are in a leadership role or you're approaching a leadership role, you need to do the work on yourself. If you feel like you're not confident, maybe there's something in you that isn't quite ready. You need to find what that is. You need to do the work on yourself, whether that's more personal or that's actual learnings that you need to be pursuing, and just continue learning and growing.
Very eloquent, Sadia. I thought this is something that very many young people can take away when it comes to getting out there for the first time and being so nervous about what the outcomes might be. And I think just the acquisition of what you're able to achieve is good measure of just how much more you can do. Our mentors play a huge part in this as well. Who are some of the people that you've met along the way, or maybe just one person that you think of as a mentor, and how have they helped this journey?
So you talked about young people being nervous as they're, approaching new situations and so on. And I feel like you being nervous is a good thing. It shows that you actually care about what you're getting into. You actually are concerned with, doing what you need to do and doing it well. So if you're nervous, it shows that you really care, but you also need to do the work.
I think that also speaks to the demands of leadership. We know that when there is a calling for us, it also means that we have to do more, maybe work harder, learn a new skill, do something that we've never done before. How do you balance your personal life and your well being with those demands?
I haven't always balanced it very well. Even now, I find days when I'm like, that wasn't a very good balance, and I'm paying for it today. Like, let's say I didn't, do very well in that the day before. I'm like, okay, today I feel a little off. I definitely need to work better on that. It's a come and go type of situation. It's quite subjective. I think really identifying what drives you as a person personally. What do you have in your personal life that is really driving you in your career world, and nourishing that in your personal life so that you can continue to be motivated and mentally ready and healthy to do your best in your working life?
You're one of those guests that I've actually say the first of many that have touched on something that is really key here, and that's the fact that consistency is not the rise of it over time. It is simply that day by day we make a conscious effort to do the best that we can. Because if you're 40% one day is just at 40%, that's still 100% of what you were able to give on that day. And our learning curve is never linear. It's always going to be a trajectory of testing, trials, learning the same thing that you already learned way back when, unlearning, relearning. It's impressive how you've touched on that. So kudos to you, Saudi, for reminding young people out there exactly what it is that they need to know to get up every day and make a move on the things that matter to them most.
Of course, and I think a sign of true intelligence and commitment to learning and working on yourself is understanding just how adaptable you need to be, especially in your working life, but really staying true to the root of what drives you and your why as a person. Why are you doing this? Why are you getting up every day? Why are you, striving so hard at your job? And find what that is and really and truly nourishing it and making sure that you do have that balance, you do have that to fall back on and support you.
And last but not least, Sadia, looking ahead 5 to 10 years, what legacy or impact do you hope to leave?
That's definitely a big question. And it really, for me, it puts a light on everything I'm doing right now because I am in a space that a few years ago I was really hoping to be in. And now I am in this space and I have an opportunity to participate directly in international conferences, in impacting regional business, in creating international connections. And just a few short years ago, this was just a dream for me. For I do know where I want to see myself, but the type of legacy that I want to leave behind is one of wisdom. I want to have displayed wisdom in all of my work. I want to have been an adaptable person who has embraced learning and who has contributed meaningfully in my field. But also, I want to be able to be someone who has led a team and who has impacted my team members to take on new ventures and to have more confidence in themselves that they had thought possible. Whether that's from seeing what I've managed to do from the level of confidence I've built up to and I'm still trying to build up to, or just the things that I've managed to open up for them, the opportunities I've managed to provide for them, and just take that and run with it. And I don't think I'm summarizing that quite as eloquently as I would like to, but I think I'm still figuring it out as I go, and as we all are. And I am still trying to understand what type of leader I need to be. And it's quite subjective based on the team members that come and go. You do need to adapt your style and your the type of communication that you have based on the team members that you have. And it really is being adaptable, not only in your work life, but as a person, really making an impact on someone's career also.
I like that, Sadia. I thought it was a very authentic response. And
Quite
as
authentic.
really,
Not prepared.
yeah. And I think as anyone grows, the more they acquire what it is that they want to tweak their mission, change their goals entirely. And it's wonderful that we have the opportunity. I mean, that's what life is, to really figure out what it is that we want to do and pivot it how we'd like to. So thank you for that. Thank you so much, Sadia, for sharing with us your commitment to building platforms like regional trade missions, the IBC. It's a reminder that powerful leadership isn't always about headlines. It's systems, it's building confidence, building action that moves over time. Thank you so much. You were a wonderful guest.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
And that's a wrap on today's episode of Leadership in Action. A sincere thank you to Saudia Persaud, Operations Manager of the Suriname Guyana Chamber of Commerce, for sharing how leadership behind the scenes can create ripple effects across economies. If today's conversation inspired you or offered valuable insight, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone in your network who believes in the power of regional leadership. Now, until next time, this is Leadership in Action. Stay inspired and keep leading with purpose.